Hello and welcome to this glorious mess. We're embracing the chaos together. We're ditching the judgment. I'm Annalise Todd, and 50% of the time, I live alone. No roommates, not even teeny tiny ones, just me.
I'm Tegan Natoli, and I have so many roommates. My house is basically a giant game of musical beds, and not in the swinging kind. I'm talking about my 3 little kids. And husband, and husband's there as well. But between us all, new bed, new night. You don't even know who you're waking up next to. It's a lucky dip every day.
Just without the keys in the bowl. So today on the show, we're talking about the roommate phase of relationships.
We sure are.
What is it? The signs you might be in one. And we're going to chat to a dad about his experience of the roommate phase from his first marriage and the steps he's taking to ensure that he doesn't fall into the same patterns with his new wife. It's so common.
I feel like we've all, even if you're not there now, I feel like you've been there, whether it's been fleeting or, a month or a year, you've been there. It's either made or broken you, right?
Yeah, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what it is a little bit later. But first, here's what's happening in my group chat. So, Teags, there was a viral thread on Reddit.
Well, you love a viral.
I do. I love a thread. It's been lighting up my group chat because a woman asks the Reddit group chat, which is the internet, if she's overreacting and she's considering divorce. Okay. So her husband secretly ate her meals that she had prepped for herself post-surgery recovery. She'd been on a liquid diet and was looking forward to eating solids, and he originally blamed their 11-year-old child and pretended.
So he did the,
he
knew.
The dog ate my homework. The kid ate your surgery meal prepped meals. But she realised it couldn't be true because it was like healthy things like salmon, and their 11-year-old doesn't eat that. And when he finally admitted it, he said it was because he was too bored and tired to make his lunches for work. My group chat has decided this is a divorceable offence. Do you agree?
It's a very selfish thing to do.
The optics aren't good. There's a lot of red flags here.
It's definitely flaggable. It's flaggable.
Mom,
I can't make the decision, but he's a dickhead.
A line approved. So, Teags, there was a Mamma Mia article that went viral recently.
Again.
I do. The viral thing. It's me. It was by Beck Day, and she had some advice on how to survive the roommate phase by relationship coach Megs Dixon. So what is the roommate phase? It is what it does on the tin, as they're saying. So it's when your partner has become more like a friend, and you're just two people who happen to live in the same house and share responsibilities. Life has become comfortable, and it can make it really easy to feel complacent.
Now, they've even referred to this as roommate syndrome.
I think it is a syndrome.
Yeah. I wondered, if there's variables of this, as I mentioned earlier, can it be fleeting? Can it be, when there's a newborn? When is how long is too long to be in that phase? Because I'm sure every single relationship would go through this phase, kids or no kids. Yes. There's some times where you're busy, I'm busy. We're ships in the night. We barely see each other. We haven't had a meal together for a while. Things are a lot at the moment. But then you just go, oh, you know what? We're just disconnected and we're roommates. Let's call it quits. When is too long?
Well,
in this phase.
As the cautionary tale of the only divorced person in the room, I would say that just in general, my advice is any issue in a relationship or a marriage, if it gets or goes left untreated, head in the sand, it just shouldn't be. Things need to be tackled, things need to be dealt with and worked on. When you've got really young children, that trenchy phase, as we call it, in the trenches, roommate syndrome or phase, definitely I would say peaks, because you're just so busy and tired and the kids are so physically demanding, and so all of your energy goes into taking care of the little people, and it can be really hard to fit in things like date night and we just literally a conversations are logistics.
And I'm sure to many listeners, roommates is even that's a step up.
That sounds fun.
That's a step up from housemates because, especially when you're in that trench period. And like I mentioned, sometimes we're musical beds. Sometimes my husband's not even my roommate. He's just my housemate. I'm like, babe, I don't even know what room he's ended up in, what bed he's in, So it does get really tricky.
So these are some of the common signs you might be experiencing roommate syndrome.
Okay.
So struggling to communicate. And that's obviously more than just surface logistic level. It's actually having those connected conversations.
Yeah. Yep, not just like, how was your day?
And the washing needs and the dry cleaning and the
So it needs to be things that you wouldn't actually talk to your roommate about.
Yes, it's the intimacy.
Yes.
Is the dividing factor of the roommate syndrome and
like,
relationship.
what are you actually communicating about?
Yeah. Obviously feeling less intimate. I mean, that's an obvious one. Feeling like there's no affection or romance. I struggle with this. Feeling like your lives, aside from your mutual obligations, and a lot of the time, obviously that's children, are separate. I don't know. I mean, I guess, I'm the cautionary tale in the room, but I feel like having a level of independence is a good thing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be each other's everything.
And I think in this case, it's not like, oh, we shouldn't be doing those separate things. It's more like, I have no idea what you're doing. Like you kind of get home at the end of the day and you're like, how was your day? How was your day? And you're like, good. And it's just such separate lives.
And I think as well, to use like a Grey's Anatomy analogy, it's like they need to feel like your person. Like they're the first person that you want to tell the good news, the exciting stuff, and whinge about the minutiae of your day.
And I'm sure a lot of mums who are at home raising little kids while their partner or dads while their partner's working, like this can sometimes be a real side effect of that lack of communication because, they're off working and socialising and dealing with people and having conversations and they'll come home and you'll be like, how's your day? And they've got stories to tell. And if you're at home with baby or you've been to the park, you're kind of like, not much to talk. He ate his soup for lunch.
Banana mash.
It's like you kind of run out of things to say when you're in that period. I've definitely been there.
So another one of the signs is feeling like the relationship isn't a priority. It should be a priority to make time for time away from the children, the house. Like it's so hard though.
Feeling like you have support.
Or feeling like you don't have support.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Is the sign that this could be, roommate syndrome or phase.
Yeah, okay.
What I want to know as someone who is divorced, who is in a honeymoon phase, in a new relationship, how do you not let that go? Because I don't want to let it go.
And it's gonna. I hate to be glass half full but empty, whichever one it is. I think we all think that the honeymoon period's going to last, don't we?
But what I would like to find out from our next guest, Tom, who has been through a divorce, who is remarried and had young children with someone else. How has
Well, that was lucky he had a practice run, didn't he?
Well, that's what I'm hoping I did.
Well, see, this is my theory, right? So for my husband and I know, like, we moved pretty quickly. Like, we're like honeymoon phase and then engaged, which is like still honeymoon phase. And then a year later married. By our first wedding anniversary, we had 2 kids. By our second wedding anniversary, we had 3 kids. So like we went to carefree honeymoon phase to the trenches real freaking
It was like
quick.
high, quick.
Yeah,
low
like
fall.
we were on like the roller coaster of life. And so I think the come down of that, this is the best and it's going so fast and it's amazing. And, not saying that the kids are a low in life, but it's a lot. And it's when you're looking at your relationship while having kids, especially in my case, 3 kids really close together, 100% the trenches affect this so much.
That's the most critical stage because in most partnerships it is gendered and you've got domestic inequality, you've got exhaustion, and those combinations of things then bottle up to resentment. Yeah. And that's when you're not having those conversations and you're not communicating about the issues. That's when you can slip into the roommate because you're just not addressing the elephant in the room.
And it does come down to both of you as well. You're both in this relationship. If one of you is feeling that one's overworked or one of you feels like the other needs a break from the kids, like that's what I always say to Jason whenever we're having issues. I'm like, the only ones that can fix this is us. Right? Like we are responsible for our relationship. So if we want to do better, we need to book a date night or we need to go away for a couple of days or we need to have a conversation. So I'm interested to speak to our guest today who is a male A male?
A male on this glorious
male?
mess.
Oh my God, a father?
Well, I never.
Well, he's going to come in and we're going to hear what he does to avoid housemate. What are we?
Roommate phase. Or
Roommate
syndrome,
phase.
depending on how severe
Roommate
the
syndrome.
case
God,
is.
that sounds like a medical condition.
It is severe.
I'm not sure about that.
Tegan, we're saving relationships around Australia here on This Glorious Mess. It's serious. So we're a big family here at This Glorious Mess, and we've invited one of our pod producers today who is a boy or a man.
A man.
He's a man.
He's a male.
For something fun.
A father.
Yeah. So Tom, welcome to This Glorious Mess.
Hello. So good to finally say g'day to you guys. I'm an avid listener.
Now we've got you and we're going to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Yes, we want your male perspective. So let's just set a little bit up about you, Tommy. So you are a father of 3.
Yeah, so it's all happening in my house. I'll give you the quick spiel. So I've got my 17-year-old daughter, Nala. I had her when I was so young. I was 19 years old. So we've kind of grown up together and we're really close. So that's amazing for us. And my 2 little ones, Donnie and Joan, they're 5 and 3. And yeah, we're right in it. Like they've reached a stage now where they're kind of collaborating, and I'm always hearing these kind of whispers around the corner, like, you run that way, I'll go that way. Then you throw the water on him and he won't catch us. And that's kind of what I'm competing with. And, of course, my lovely wife, Jessica, who is, to be honest, a lot smarter than me. And for her, I'm probably just like this project that she's working on. I wonder where this guy will end up, and she's being patient. So that's me.
And so, Tommy, take us through. So you had Nala when you were very, very young. So you were with you're not currently with her mother.
Yeah.
So that was your first marriage?
Yeah, that was my first love. We didn't get married. But
it's the same. You have a kid together. The rest is paperwork.
That's right. Yeah, it's all admin from that point. But our first love, and we had Nala so young. And at the time, I was highly stressed. But it's been the biggest blessing on my life because it forced me to stop being so loose and really get myself together and build my life. So it was really a blessing in disguise at the time.
So in that first relationship where you had a child with someone, would you say that you fell into what we're sort of coining and has been coined the roommate phase in the relationship?
Oh, man, that hits really deep for me because I think that would have been the reason why we ended up separating. And we're great friends now, of course, but we definitely fell into that. And my wife and I now, we're so hyper aware of it because we've both been through that. And to think, if you compare when you first get with someone, you first fall in love and you're kind of like drunk on love, comparing to those times when Jess and I first got together, we were myopic and oblivious to everything around us, hooking up everywhere. And then to now we've got these little people who are trying to break your spirit, trying to undermine your productivity everywhere. And those aren't conditions for romance at all. So yeah, we're definitely aware of that.
Since you are both so aware of it, what are some of the things that you can kind of know? Oh, like that's it. That's one of these things starting to slip on in, or we're getting into a bad habit here, or what are some of the signs and triggers, I suppose, for you, and how do you sort of counteract those?
Yeah, so I'll premise this by saying I'm not an expert. In fact, I'm probably the opposite of an expert. So these are just things that we try out, but
Hey, you called yourself your wife's project earlier, so I think you've already done that preface.
One sign could be if you walk past them in the hallway and they punch you into the shoulder and say, "G'day, champ."
That's very friend zone.
Yeah, very friend zone. But I think it's just if you feel that spark, you know intuitively, like if you feel that spark disappear. And one thing that we've been trying to do that I heard from this psychologist is called the 6-second kiss. And, you know, as you get on in a relationship, it's always very rushed, like, mwah, mwah, like, goodbye, darling, see you later. And apparently with the 6-second kiss, it's science that if you hold a kiss for longer than 6 seconds, the oxytocin, which is like that love chemical, goes dripping back through your brain. And, you know, that's what you felt when you were first in that honeymoon phase.
Because 6 seconds is quite a long time, isn't it? Like if you think like 6 seconds, it's... But that is, I would say, one of the most common things is when you've been in a relationship for a million years, you know, you still might get the occasional, you know, bonk in. But one of the things that you stop doing, and it's really common, is you stop making out.
Like an intimate kiss,
like
not just a smooch.
You don't make out anymore. And I feel like that, if that's the one thing that you're saying that you and your new wife hold on to, I think that's really great advice.
I have to laugh. My husband, I saw this same theory about this 6-second kiss, and which is also followed up with that the 6-second kiss is equivalent to a 20-second hug or cuddle, right?
Right.
But my husband got the mixed up numbers. He's like, we've got a kiss for 20 seconds. And I'm like,
right. So
no,
he's just trying to
mate.
mac on with you.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, I had to literally pull the thing off Instagram back out again. And so, see here, it's a 20-second cuddle and a 6-second kiss, okay?
Yeah. So he sounds like he's learning as well. That's apparently the science, and it all kind of gets those chemicals going. But one other thing which also trying to work on is, you know, when you're especially when you've got little people around, all your conversations can become administrative. Like logistical shit. Like it's, who's doing the pickup, doctor's appointments. But when you're first together, you're not talking about any admin. So we try to set apart, you know, half hour, an hour every week where we'll have a coffee, and our rule with the coffee is no logistical chat. You can only talk about things you're passionate about, and then that starts to feel like you get your identity back, because otherwise feels like you're just a mom or just a dad, and we're trying to do that. Not every week, but it's a happening thing.
I think that's such good advice, because one of the signs that we went through when we talked about and looked at what is the roommate phase, one of the main things, obviously like physical intimacy is obvious, but it's about the lack of communication and about addressing anything outside those day-to-day logistics chats. And I love that you actually carve out time, because everyone goes date night, but you actually carve out communication time.
Yeah, and there is such a thing as intimate communication, you know, like as you said, it's like, sure, communication can be fine if all you're talking about is, you know, the kids' soccer and swimming lessons and school drop-offs, but like, you know, but that's not intimate communication, you know, really getting to chat about what each other is up to and how you're feeling. And
yeah, absolutely. And it makes a big difference. Anytime we've had like a passionate chat about what, you know, anything outside of our children and outside of logistics, you just feel better. Like you feel like, oh, I am an actual person. I'm not just a shell of a human being a parent.
But I think it's so important to connect as adults in the relationship, not just as parents. And I think that's what you're touching on, is it's so easy to fall into the trap of just connecting about your children, but actually connecting as people outside your children. And that's how you keep the relationship alive, according to our resident dad expert.
Yeah,
Tom.
I think he's an absolute expert.
But you've been through it before. Like, that's the thing, right? So if you've been through a separation from someone you've had a child with, going into it, like that is like you've had
a little practice run.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's the same with my 17-year-old daughter. And we joke about it, but she was like a practice run too. So you learn things as you go.
Oh, well, amazing. And thank you for all your beautiful insight into your life and how we can maybe avoid the roommate phase.
Thank you. And again, a caveat, I'm not an expert, but we're just trying our best.
We've enjoyed hearing from you. And I think we're going to hear from you a little more.
You also are our resident songwriter here at Mamma Mia. You perform shows around the place. So we set you a special assignment.
Stop.
To write us a song.
Oh, I can't wait.
So it's about the mayhem of raising kids. And just to make it harder, you need to include the name of our show in the song. This was the assignment, This Glorious Mess. Have you done the assignment, Tommy?
Yes, I'm very nervous about this, but it was a bit of fun, and it goes in a couple of places. So I brought my ukulele along, and it's just about, the anarchy of mornings. We find mornings really hard in our house to actually get out the bloody door.
Yeah, Tegan does too, not me.
Yeah. So it's about the anarchy of mornings, and I've managed to... Well, we'll see how it pans out, but
Oh my gosh.
I've got the show name in there as well, just for you.
I'm probably going to cry.
Are you ready?
I am hormonal.
All right.
Okay.
Take it away, Tommy.
Me
Okay.
too.
Go, Tommy.
It's chaos in our house again. The kids are screaming round the bend. We're running late, barely dressed. Oh, it's a glorious mess. A washing pile. Where's my keys? I've lost all productivity, but we're off to school, easy pleased with Vegemite and cheese. Feels like love when your public tantrums embarrass me, and it must be love. You leave shit everywhere for me to clean in the living room, the kitchen too, but I'll carry you with a sore back. Stepped on your Lego, my foot went crack. I think it must be love. Okay, this bit's for our preteens and Gen Alphas. My phone is missing. Look, behold, I've been outwitted by a 10-year-old. My cup is full. I'm highly stressed. Oh, it's a glorious mess. Feels like love when you argue back about everything, and it must be love when you put a mirror up to my behaviours and cause me to have an existential crisis. But I'll drive you round to any town when it's pissing down for Saturday sport. You flogged my change, but then you got caught. I think that this is quite challenging, if I'm honest, but it's also love.
Yay! Tommy.
Thank you
Very
so much.
relatable. Very relatable.
As you can tell, I'm under the pump.
Oh, yeah,
Hey, and you're also very, very talented musician, can I just say?
Oh, thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this glorious mess. We hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, we'd love it if you left us a rating or a review.
And get in touch with us. And if you have a theme song that you would want Tom to sing,
Yes.
apparently he's doing
Taking requests now. Further assignments will be noted. If you have a dilemma you'd like Sarah Marie to resolve, you can send us a voice note. All the information, there's a link in the show notes.
Or you can even place a request for Tom. If you would like your very own theme song, send on through what you would like Tom to sing. What a star he is. This episode was produced by Grace Roubre with audio production by Lou Hill, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.